So we got the scary movie Black Phone. Is this movie worth going in Dolby? Honestly, to be very honest with you, probably not. I mean, this movie barely has jump scares and it only has a little bit, like some. And also, it has scary sounds. I mean, yes, it's from Blumhouse, so to me, I'm like, ooh, Blumhouse. But we know Blumhouse's track record. They're not good. They're not bad. Sometimes they make good movies, sometimes they don't. But I feel like for the majority of the humans, normal would be okay. Now, yes, of course, I have A-list. I love movies to like the max, like more than like a lot of people, but not like that. But I feel like for most of you that don't have A-list or movie pass, I feel like normal would be okay for this movie. I don't think Dolby would be like the best. Even when I was thinking, I was like, like I feel like for the rest of you guys or for the rest of the audience that don't have a movie pass, I don't know if like an $18 ticket price tag for Dolby, unless you want the best experience, of course. But I'm just saying for the majority of the people who are on the fence for this type of movie, there's not a lot of scary. Doesn't mean it's not scary because it's a little bit, but it's not like too much. So Black Phone is a horror, suspenseful, thriller, tensionful movie. It stars Mason Thames, a kid in grade school who plays baseball when he starts noticing a bunch of kids in his neighborhood being stolen based on the posters that he sees like around his neighborhood. So he actually knows every single one of these kids. He reads the poster, like everything. He just like, damn, like who are these kids? Like what's going on? And then he gets beaten up at home. His dad doesn't really like him. I love his relationship with his sister though. We'll talk about that in a minute. It puts some like, I guess I'm foreshadowing in the beginning that he has to stand up for himself that one day, and I guess this might be the time. His sister is played by Madeline McGraw. She is definitely key important to the story because she starts having or dreams or visions, or every time she goes to sleep, like I guess it's linking to her to Jesus Christ, that what's going on. Can she help the missing evidence? Because some of the FBI or the cops are like, we heard that you have these dreams, and it's not really clear to us unless she told a friend, like you have these dreams, and she prays to Jesus Christ, which I loved Jesus Christ in the movie. I was like, not that he's in it, but I'm saying like the connection that she has with him. I'm like, this is so cool because it's like a little kid. She's like, oh, like you're not real, you're real, like help me out. The guy you see behind the mask in the trailer, which is the grabber, is played by Ethan Hawke, which plays as a villain, and he's the one who's grabbing these kids. Now, when I heard that Ethan Hawke was gonna play as a villain, I kind of got upset because Ethan Hawke to me has always been like a protagonist, especially in other horror movies, just like the Sinister, which he does phenomenal in that job, or the First Purge, which I wish that movie was. I mean, I'm glad that expanded, so I'm like, I don't know. And to be honest with you, seeing this movie, even though he is the villain, he does a good job, but I just feel like this movie is short, simple, and sweet. Like I don't know, I want to say it's too short for what it's trying to accomplish, but I felt like for a lot of the fans, it would be okay. One day, the kid, the main protagonist, gets captured of the movie, and that's where it really stands out. Like, yes, it takes a little bit while to get to that point, like a few days, but then once he starts getting captured, this is where the meat of the story, of the bones, of the scary stuff comes in. So he gets captured. Ethan Hawke tries to tell him, oh, you're gonna be here, we're gonna feed you, and he's in his weird black room. Like there's like one bed, and it feels like it's a hostel, like it's kind of scary, but not really, until he starts getting mysterious phone calls with the black phone that's not even hooked up like Ethernet or landline or dial up, because Ethan Hawke's character, the grabber, is like, oh, you don't use that, it doesn't work. But then he starts getting like shh. First is just phone calls of nothing, just static shh, but then it gets a little bit interesting, and this is where the movie starts getting better, because remember those kids that he starts noticing? So I think he's like the fourth or fifth kid that the grabber got, and every single time the phone call rings, it's some, unfortunate to say, some dead kid that has already died in that situation but has tried to get out. So they tell him, hey, like I left the code in here, or I left something in this other room because there's a toilet in the next room, like it's all connected, like, you know, they're trying to help him, but it feels like they're calls from the dead. And the movie starts really ramping up once they starts getting a little bit sinister and more supernatural. Like sometimes when they call him, because now we're in the beginning, he's trying to get out, and his sister's still trying to find him, like, oh, trying to get these visions, they don't know where he is. The neighborhood knows about the missing children, especially with this guy, but it's connected with his sister. So the movie shows us like the dead kids, because we see them, some of them earlier in the film, and some of them are like all bloody. They're talking to him, so they're in the same shot. The guy's on this phone, he's like, oh, like what should I do you have any tips? And sometimes they forget who they are because it's been kind of some time. But what I thought was scary is that the movie sends like this scary signal, and then the kids, the dead kids, are literally in the same room, but we don't see it or we don't notice it, some of them, and they're all like bloody, devilish, like hellish, like some of them are floating, and I'm like, whoa, this is kind of scary. Barely, even though 2 times of the movie was more like supernatural and scary, and like you see them and I was like, whoa, like this is kind of different, because these are children actors, and they did a great job, because I'm just like, damn, they're all giving him like calls. Every different kid has something, like they died, and they're doing different different things to help him get out. So he tries to use the roof, he tries to use the cooler, and I love this middle part of the movie because I'm just like, damn, like they could have probably leaned into more of the supernatural side a little bit, but for what they pulled off, I think they did a great job. Like, yes, it could have been more supernatural. Like one time we see a kid, I'm not gonna rule anything away, but in a weird position. I was like, whoa, like that is kind of scary. Like seeing that, but then they're calling him, and I don't know, I could have been a little bit more scary, but still what we got wasn't that bad. I love how the dead kids called him from like the devilish, or they're just like, damn, like we got killed, but we don't want you to get killed, so we're trying to help you out. I don't know, I thought it was a cool thing because this black phone is not connected to anything but rings, and then Ethan Hawke knows that it doesn't work, but secretly he's getting calls trying to get out, and that's when it really starts getting like scary. But it's like over within a flash. I mean, make no mistake, we don't get really backstory of the characters. I mean, yeah, we get some that her mother or their mother has like powers or dreams, but she died, she took her own life, and we don't really see backstory of Ethan Hawke's character. So that's what I'm saying. This is a short, simple, sweet, scary movie. Maybe it could have been more supernatural, to be honest with you, but for what we got, I was really happy about it. But to be honest with you guys, I'm gonna give this a C+. As always, if you made it this far, I appreciate you so much. Maybe consider hitting the subscribe button and turning on notifications so you never miss a video. With that, I'll see you next week. Take care.